everyone, Joe here from ActionX, and welcome to What's on the Two. And welcome back. It was your The Rookie Season 6 episode review. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're staying safe out there in the big old world. I'm burning up. I'm not sick, but New York had a very weird case of just not knowing what the hell weather it is. Last week it was freezing cold. 2 weeks ago it was rainy as hell, and today was really warm. If not sometimes hot, and I actually wore a fur coat. Okay, not a fur coat, but I had a fur inlining with the jacket, so it was more warmer than it should be. So yeah, I'm a little warm right now, and my house is still on heat mode because in a couple days from now it's gonna be cold again. Because this is how global warming is a thing, everyone. Global warming is a thing. I can confirm that right here and right now. But you're not here for that. You're here to talk about the rookie. We're back again. Another episode before we go on another break. But this will be the last break for the season when we do come back in 3 more weeks. We should have a straight run to the finale, so don't worry. Don't fret. After this 3 weeks is going to go by fast. I'm just going to really hope that everything, when we do come back here, that everything's fine. I don't know why I'm saying it like that. It's not like I'm teasing anything at all. It's just like, just hope everything's fine. But anywho, so don't worry, don't fret. Well, I am a little concerned, though, before we actually get into the review, is that it's been 2 solid week periods of I've been seeing renewals and renewals and renewals, and yet the rookie hasn't been renewed yet. I'm like, what's going on with that? I mean, ratings-wise, it's doing pretty solid compared to last season. I think, personally speaking, it should be renewed already, so I don't know what the holdup is, for the announcement. Because almost everything on ABC got renewed already. The only thing that hasn't been renewed is Gina Rodriguez's show, and I think there's another comedy they haven't reviewed yet. I forgot what the other one was, but if anyone can comment down below. But yeah, it's only 3 scripted shows that have yet to be renewed, and I'm like, again, it's been like we're more than halfway done with the season, so I'm like, we would like to know, like, just to be ahead. And I do understand the rookies had a history of like renewing after the season comes out, so I'm not quite worried about that. But I'm just saying, like, I would like to get some news. I would like to get some news about that ASAP, ABC, hopefully. I would like to get the news before April comes out so I can plan my schedule, please. Please and thank you. But going to this week's episode, mostly kind of coming as a follow-up to last week, in a way, this felt like a 2-parter, a very loose one in retrospect. But I found this to be engaging, insightful, questionable at times, but maybe it's because like it's the age-old TV tropes playing at my fiddlesticks again, which sometimes I don't have to remember that, sometimes I do. It just depends on the nature of what the writers are thinking of for the season. And yeah, again, I've heard some comments online saying that this is a very rushed season, which I'm like, well, maybe it was going to be stretched out longer, maybe it wasn't. But again, remember, we're coming from 22 episodes to 10. And not because that's because it's being cheap. It's just because the powers may be just we can only fit 10. That's all we can really do. We could have done more, but the cast needs there needs to be a good schedule. So thankfully we're through the through line there. But I still think this episode was really good. I definitely feel like they set up some things for even more further down the road. And I'm still, again, like I'm. Maybe it's just kind of like just for me, like with my expectations and everything, again, I do understand TV shows operate different than movies. I do understand scheduling has been different in recent years, but just certain things in my brain, just like, I don't know. At the end of the day, I trust the writers way more than any fan fiction people. And I'm not trying to speak ill of fan fiction people. I do understand there's a ton of them on the internet for not just this show, but for other shows. There's a reason why it's fan fiction. Like, it's fictional. Like, it's fun, and it's like, oh, what? And I don't really, like, I read into that, but so it's like, it's my brain, like, thinking, like, are we doing this for the sake of, like, actual development, or is this part of, like, just keeping us at loop here? I don't know, really, 100% speaking, normally this is one of those things where, like, if this was a bingeable show, which most times it is, I would just binge the next episode, see what the hell happens next, but that's not the case with this one. We have to wait till a few weeks to get, like, some answers, maybe not even any answers. But with that all being said, let's just go to the Butcher recap and talk about this week's episode of The Rookie. Nolan and Selena are patrolling the streets of LA. I forgot what the topic of conversation is. Actually, no, I do remember. Selena is asking Nolan for advice about just what is the appropriate level when you have a roommate to what is comfortable when it comes to bringing people over, if you know what I mean about that. And Nolan's like, well, just vacate to the room and then fully dress. At the other point, they're not in the room. And apparently Selena saw this guy's junk after a while. And I'm like, okay, well, yeah, that's, yeah, they should have been specifically say, like, you know, hey, I have a roommate here. She could walk out at any minute, like, you know, please put your dong away. Or Willie, whatever size it is. And then they notice like another police car like speeding alongside their left side, and they're wondering, hey, is there any big calls happening right now? So they call it the dispatch. Apparently, there's no big active calls in the moment to warn a car racing to a scene. And they look in the car, and it's just a civilian, just like a robber. And I'm just like, okay, who would be the idiot to let their car be stolen by a regular civilian? And there's only one man I know that can do that. Smithy, everyone. Smithy, why do we even let you on the street by this point? I feel like you're just like mainly for office, or if he has like a criteria of like he has to be on the street maybe 2 times a week, I don't know. He's slowly becoming one of those characters that like, yeah, we don't know why we have him. He's just there. I'm guessing he has something over everyone that kind of requires him to be there. Again, I really don't know. I really don't know. I really don't 100% know what the game plan is for that one. I really don't know. So we cut over back from the break. Chen is kind of still wheeling in from her latest round of being ghosted by Bradford. No updates on him from just whatever he's doing right now. She's just trying to be the best girlfriend she could be, just support her person during this, to respect his privacy and to be there when he does is relatively available to her. However, there's just more at her plate right now because she's not had a pretty good couple of weeks recently. She has not. It's about to get worse. Tamara comes into the room, make sure she's okay, to drop the news that some of her friends are considering renting out a home for all of them to live out of, and Tamara wants to go. So it's finally time for her to spread her wings and fly and actually, you know, go forward into adulthood, which yeah, Chen is like got other things on her mind, but I'm pretty sure if it was any other day of the week, she would be more like, no, like, you know, you should stay, and like, you know, it's just like, you know, empty nest syndrome, even though they, you know, that the commodity between them in like the last 3 years have been like, you know, it just worked out to work out as, you know, they're, you know, sisters from other mothers, and, you know, it just happens to work out, and then the fact that she's about to leave is just, I don't think that's what Chen needs right now. Like, you know, she just needs someone nearby to her. And, you know, since Bradford's kind of AWOL right now, it's kind of been Tamara, but now Tamara is, you know, again, if that's her availability, you know, Chen and her are not fully related. So she has no real commitment to her. And obviously, you know, she's thankful that, you know, Chen helped her out so many times throughout the past few years. But like, you know, it's time. And, you know, Chen's just not, she's not reacting to that right now, but she will react to it at some point eventually soon. From there, we cut up into Nolan getting some good Z's. Oh, God, I missed my bed. I really, really do. I have not been getting proper sleep. I'm just being completely honest with you about that. He was ready for some cuddling time with his wife, but his wife's actually on his bedside just watching him with a cup of coffee, which I'm like, yeah, that's just some real serial killer lives over there. I'm just not going to be completely straightforward with that. No, maybe you should rethink some things. I can't. She's been doing some even more thinking, and she believes they should have a kid, that they should be parents, that, you know, that it should be time to do it. And, you know, that, you know, last week kind of, you know, woke some things up in her, like, okay, now she wants to be a mom, and then she's ready to be a provider for a child. And Nolan's just like, caught me off guard here. You really did. Why don't I put on some pants, get a cup of coffee, and then we can discuss about it. But of course, Bailey's like, I that's a big life decision. You know, it's not an easy one to make because, you know, if you proceed forward with this, not only do you have 18 years of guaranteed parenthood to do together, you also have another lifetime of just supporting them whenever they want to do. So it's a pretty big ask. It really is a pretty big ask. So Nevertheless, Nolan just, needs some time. Again, this is jumping back up to season 2, which again, I already how like certain plot lines can come back long after even of the specific nature. I've just watched it for what I'm doing on my end of things, and to focus on that. Chen goes after Lopez, just asking her, "Hey, did you hear anything from Bradford? Anything new or anything like that?" And she's like, "Nope. I just assume he's just taking vacation days, so I just assume he's just taking vacation." Which I'm like, yeah, well, you would assume if he's taking a vacation, he would be with his girlfriend, right? And obviously, I know Chen and him are like two completely different, statuses on their PTO. But I'm still like, it would be obligatory for like if Bradford's gonna go on vacation with anyone, it would be with Chen. But that's not the case right there. Yeah, but she does tell her the truth. They're like, yeah, like the last time they spoke about things that, he can't get her involved because it is a sensitive topic that if she does get fully involved in it, she could risk her career. And Lopez is like, okay, I sense a challenge. So she goes over to the shipyard where he's been camping out for the past few days, just waiting for an opportunity for David Damashi's character to slip up. Lopez is just like, hey, look, I'm your BFF. Whether you like it or not, I'm here for you. I'm here to help you out. So let's do it. Let's just do a stakeout together, see what we can find, and get you back to Chen, safe and sound. That's just the priority at play here right now. Then we cut over back to Nolan and Juarez. They're back in the shop. Nolan is telling her the news of like, yeah, Bailey's considering having a kid, and of course, Celine just assumes that, oh, you're having a kid. I'm like, how do you get this from that? Like, just because when we say maybe doesn't mean it's a guarantee. Yes, like, let us think for one moment here. And Nolan's just like, just getting the old man spiel of like, well, I understand why you don't want to have a kid. I'm using the Adam Sandler, Kevin James format here. Like when the kid's 18, Nolan I believe will be 64, which sounds scary to have a kid just leaving high school when you're 64 years old. That's usually the age of. I mean, the way things work now right now is like in the environment. It's like, when is the best time to have a kid? I've seen people in their teens, in their 20s, in their 30s, some even in their 40s. So I'm like, I really don't know what the correct time period is right now for like anyone to have a kid, really. So I'm like, it's whenever you feel comfortable by this point in time. Like this is kind of my understanding as I'm getting older and older. As I eventually approach the age when I have my own kids, whether they'll be, whether we're still going in the future, whether the rookie's still on season 10. I got my son right here just reviewing the show with me. Oh, I would love that. I would really love that. Okay, I'm going too far up the bandwagon here. Back to the show. So they respond to a call nearby to a forceful community service by some jail inmates. So there's a little skirmish going around there. At the same time, when they go to check it out, they get Aaron and his temporary partner of the day, someone in the background who the heck really knows. Not gonna lie, they're just not gonna lie. They're responding to like a fast accelerate car. I forget. I'm literally tired. I don't know what the right terminology is. They were chasing someone who was speeding. It's a mom to someone who's on the inmate side doing the volunteer work. They just want to meet up and just catch up a little bit before the daughter gets let go in a couple weeks. Then Nolan and Aaron respond to Aaron responds to a skirmish happening the other way where a homeless man is being kicked out of the area, and he's just demanding his bag. Aaron looks at the bag and just really looks at it, hey, this is the bag from a murder that happened like about a year ago. That they never found the body, they never found the bag, they never found anything, and it's just right here, and they're suspecting the guy, so they turn into a crime scene. And then at the same time, the inmate daughter that we just saw a minute ago also just conveniently happens to escape. So Nolan's like, oh god, this is not my day. This is really, really not my day. So they interrogate the homeless guy. He's just say, hey, look, I found it in the park. I picked it up. I was using it for transportation. That was about it. That's as furthest as I got. I have no real involvement in this case. So he takes he takes Aaron and Harper alongside him to go to check out the site. While Nolan and Juarez try to get a little insight on the girl that escaped. Apparently she committed assault on a girl that supposedly cheated that was the mistress and when her boyfriend cheated on her with a year ago. And again, but she was 2 weeks out, so what could have really made her want to run away properly? That's a big old question mark they have to find out now. They meet up with the mom again, and she says hey, look, I know nothing about it. I I'm still a mom. I would have advised her just not to run away. That, you know, you got 2 weeks to go. Just suck it up, and then you'll be good to go. You're squared away. Just, you know, keep your head down. That's obviously what did not happen. So they just assume, okay, next would be the girl she insulted. So they go to her workplace, and the girl's like, no, actually everything's fine. She came by, we talked, she apologized, saying that I know it's not you, but you know, I'm gonna make things right now. Which I'm like, okay, so it's not her. So who is she after right now? What is her alternative moment there? Back at the shipyard, Bradford and Lopez are still looking at David Amishia's character as he's, you know, going for some very shady practices. Lopez decides to get some pictures of the guy, goes back to Bradford. They're just gonna follow David Amishi because they have no other leads, and you know, Bradford just gotta, like, I've not seen this man in years. I'm not letting him out of my sight now. That isn't gonna happen. So they follow him, and he already knows that he's following them. He's like, this guy's like kind of a trained criminal. So I was like, he knows, like, oh hey, what's going on? He like literally gets out of his car in the middle of traffic. The car behind him leaves. He just says, fuck this shit. But the other cars are just not moving, which I'm like, y'all just gonna let this conversation happen in the middle of the street? Like, are y'all just gonna let this happen? Like, is that a thing that's happening right now? And they're talking, you know, David's character is just kind of, you know, trolling Bradford, like, yeah, you know, I see what you're doing here, but, you know, again, like, you know, there really isn't much you can do right now unless you really want to, like, jeopardize your entire life right now. That's really, the only thing at play here that you can do. And also he puts a tracking device on Bradford's car, so for future uses. So, and Bradford doesn't recognize that. So I'm like, yeah, Bradford's definitely off his A game right now. He's definitely off his A game. We cut back over to Aaron and Harper with the homeless guy looking for the backpack site. They do find it, but you know, it was a rainy day when the backpack, you know, kind of like, you know, appeared out of nowhere. So they climb up the hill further, seeing they can find the original site, and they do find the body. They do find, you know, the personal belongings. So they do confirm, okay, this is the body. However, the boyfriend who was supposedly convicted for this crime claimed he just strangled her. But no, apparently it was a gunshot wound. So definitely there's a bit of a confusion here. So they go after the Wesley's boss to talk to him because he's the one who prosecuted the boyfriend on this matter with their new piece of evidence. And the guy's like, look, the case was clean when I got it. I did my job. And, okay, sure, you found a gunshot in a woman's brain, but that doesn't mean entirely that this guy is fully innocent. So right now, just keep it to yourself. Leave it as be. And that's it, you know, because there's really not much to do. Obviously, you know, it kind of throws a wrench into everything. But again, it's only one thread that you just need to keep pulling on to like kind of dismantle the story. So it's a piece by piece sort of situation. Aaron also steps out of line a little bit to kind of, you know, not play the offense game, but he is trying to be a little bit more tactful against the whole situation. Considering the fact, you know, like this is kind of similar to when he was in that situation back in season 4. And Harper has to put him in check. Like, you can't do that. Like, you don't just lash out to an attorney believing you're automatically right, especially to when he's running for DA. So, yeah, definitely that was not the right call there. Like, we're obviously going to investigate this further, but, like, you know, you cannot be striking out like that. You cannot. That's, like, something that you can't really do right now. Then we come over back to Nolan and Juarez, you know, actually not quite yet. No, we take a break. No, we take a brief pause into that. Timelines is so confusing. I do remember. Do we get to the next day? Yeah, my brain is like shutting off here. It really is. I'm just gonna like progress. If I'm missing a step, I do apologize. I really do. I know Nolan comes back home the first night, and oh yeah, I remember now. So they don't get any leads on the daughter, so they each go back home. Nolan talks to Bailey. Bailey's still reading up on baby books, just trying to be mentally prepared for her decision, which again, it's just more assured that she's going to want to have a baby. And Nolan's just honest with her, like, you know, I am tired some days. You know, and again, well, Bailey's also in a very, you know, very physically demanding career too. Nolan is not just you. And he's just like, you know, if I'm going to commit to having another kid, like, I got to be fully there, because last time I did this, I was my own boss. Like, I could make the time to be a father. I could always do that because I was in charge. Here's not. There are structure. There are protocols. There's, you know, obvious step. There's responsibilities to your job as well, even though you have responsibilities to your child as well. So, you know, Nolan doesn't believe at this margin he can be the right father for another kid if he's just not fully there. And Bailey understands. He's like, well, you can think about it, but the problem is if you don't give me an answer now and you just keep thinking and thinking, I'm just going to be assuming eventually you'll say yes. But when you do say no, I'm going to be even more disappointed. So right now I'm just going to assume we're not having the kid. We'll move on with our lives, as just being, a regular married couple. Bradford goes back to Lopez's house. Wesley and the kids are not present. They're away on a trip to their parents. I'm assuming. I'm just guesstimating right there. And Lopez asks for the skinny, like, what exactly did happen? Why are you so shaken up by this guy? What's going on? And as we kind of remember from last week, but a few more details come into play where Bradford was a high-ranking official. He led his own squad when he was in Iraq, and there was a soldier under his command that kind of went rogue, and they had to go after him. And then when they did eventually manage to corner him, the guy called in an airstrike, and sadly, Bradford's two of his other men died during the attack, while Bradford and the guy from last week managed to survive. And they assumed that David Demeshki's character was dead too, because they found blood, they found his tags, and they just assume he died. Because again, how do you survive that? And they still don't even explain how he survived it. He's just like, he's alive, deal with it. So now the problem is that Bradford lied on the report, because it's the same old thing. You can't confirm anything without a body. There's got to be some sort of remnants to fully accurately depict to what has happened on the field, and Bradford technically lied because he never fully confirmed it. So that is a point against him should he decide to pull that Fred again. Meanwhile, David Demeshki's character finds Bradford's car. He breaks into it and gets the GPS addresses, which he finds Lucy's address. So he heads over there while Lucy and Tamara are kind of enjoying themselves for a little pizza break. He doesn't do anything serious. He just is letting her know, hey, I'm here. I know who you are. I know where you live. So, yeah, as long as Bradford keeps trailing, I'm just letting you know that I'm here. I can find you. So, have fun with that. And, that was a bit scary for Lucy. Thankfully Lucy kept her composure and everything, but she was really, really pissed at Bradford because she immediately dashed up into Lopez's house with Tamara and Tolt, and she basically yelled at him or like, I can understand to an extent of the secrecy, you're allowed to have your own personal things to keep to yourself. But the fact is that there's a dangerous man who now knows where I live, that if I wasn't present, who knows what could have happened if Tamara was just there alone. You didn't think about it. Then that's what Bradford was trying to tell. This is why I was trying to keep you out of the loop, because you don't understand this guy. You have to just stay away from this case until I get to finish him. And Lucy's like, no, I'm done. Don't think of me as the girlfriend anymore. Think of me as a fellow work peer that could handle herself, that could assist you in this matter. That's all that she wants. And Bradford has kind of no choice. He kind of has to, accept it as it may be. We cut over to the next day. Aaron is looking over the case file again. Apparently there was one suspect they weren't able to 100% rule out, but however the boyfriend confessed, so they just assumed that the other person was on a play here. So he pulls on that thread a little bit. He contacts the ex-girlfriend of his, and at first she's kind of just holding her story together, but once Aaron confirms, a gunshot was present, so they kind of reopens the entire investigation again, and she's like, okay. He didn't arrive at the time she stayed in the alibi. It was a much later time period, which gave the guy enough time to commit the murder, hide the body, and then get away. So, so definitely it does destroy the entire alibi already. However, Harper pulls him out of it because he did that interview without a superior present. Because again, Aaron is just a regular officer. He is not a detective. He doesn't have the authority to be doing these interrogations on his own. So, so he gets a little bit wrung out by Harper, but again, because Aaron just works the system as best he can, is that he manages to find a loophole. But we kind of destroyed the alibi. It's okay, now we have credibility to go after the dude, but next time, there's a property of a proper procedure you have to follow here. Cause if something happens and a lawyer goes in and interjects and says, hey, wait a minute, hold on. Some of this stuff wasn't properly, handled correctly. So how do we know the information that came out of it was correctly if the procedure that was conducted on this was not correctly done? So if that makes sense. No one Juarez do get a hit that eventually once they're trying to realize, okay, so if it's not the if it's not the girlfriend or anything, or is not the other girl, then why is she escape? Why did she escape? And then they realize something for social media posting is that the mom is wearing the exact same outfit as, well, whatever the case might be. They eventually find out that the boyfriend and the mom were sleeping together, and especially once she got to smell her mom again, like she realized, oh, it was you who was sleeping with my boyfriend. So they go over to the boyfriend's house and they find the mom, the boyfriend getting demanded at by the girl, and they're like, okay, well, let's just play this safe. Let's corner off both corners of the house. No one lays a minor trap for her. It works, and they manage to arrest her. And I'm just like, damn. I don't know who's at fault here. Actually, all of them are at fault. All of them are at fault. I have really no excuses for any one of these three. Like these are all three big nuts. Aaron and Harper takes over the investigation room here, like acting like a innocent woman who just needs like a manly help from a gun guy who manages to be the guy they're looking at. She manages to convince him to, like, you know, let her use his gun that they presume was used in the murder. So they get the bullet samples, and it does confirm that yes, this guy was the one who killed her. So they have enough evidence to acquit the other person who's already in prison already for that crime. So, and thankfully the DA, thinking rationally, is like, no, you know what, you're right. If I had known all the cases, if we had known this piece of information, I wouldn't have prosecuted in this case, because there was always been a shadow of a doubt that it wasn't this guy. So thankfully, this guy doesn't have to spend too much more time in prison. He will be out sooner than later. Again, his life has changed forever. There really isn't much that can be done right now, but still, at least he doesn't have to spend the full maximum time period that he was supposed to. You know, it is a miracle, mind you. I believe from there, yeah, so Bradford gets a hit on the guy that the David Demetrius character was looking up yesterday. Apparently, this guy is a well-known criminal. Normally does selective hit jobs, but however, there's some sort of like immigration conflict that would prevent him from like really doing anything on U.S. soil. So he most likely hired David Demetrius' character to kind of perform whatever job he wants to do recently. And because of their recent hit list, you know, they assume, okay, this woman, this political activist should be the one, and she's the one. David catches her, but however, Bradford manages to get the voice memo of her saying his name, so that's enough credibility to like put him behind bars if they really do so. And he gets a little mad because, like, okay, well, this wasn't the plan, but, like, you know, I gotta proceed forward with my plan because, you know, there's still a chance you might not be able to catch me. So I'll see you if I see you. And so they're about to dump her into a shipping container, presumably to take her away from here. And however, they already knew about the location. The three of them like kind of swarm him, and he's like, "Okay, well, you got me, but at the same time, like, do you really got me? Because, like, you know, I could always just, once you arrest me, I'll just file a complaint with IA that, you know, I got this officer just targeting me. He's been targeting me since we were in the army. Like, you know, like, okay, what's that about, man? What's that about? That's like, you know, false targeting or some shit like that." And then we get an official IA investigation, led other than Wes's dad. And I'm just like, you're telling me that you couldn't bring back this man for his own son's death. And again, I understand that TV schedules don't always line up. I don't even know if there was ever an idea to bring him on board, but I'm like, you're telling me this man who was like a prominent figure in the first 3 seasons, who cares about his son, who's always been there when the moments count, and when I was reviewing season 4, they never had a scene with him. Like, they just skipped that over. That was like my one of my few complaints about season 4. And again, I try not to devalue it too much because, like, I go, well, COVID could have been a factor, or just scheduling could have been a factor, and they just were like, maybe the writers couldn't find a way to, like, naturally, organically fit that in. I understand that, but at the end of the day, you know, it creates that, in my head, the issue that, hey, like, this scene is important too. Like, obviously, it's an internal investigation. Like, David Demetrius' character is trying to blow up Bradford's entire life right now. It is an important scene, and definitely, we've heard like little to nothing about Wes's dad ever being transferred out of there, you know, doing anything wrong. But it would have been so interesting to see something out of that back in season 4. It would have been. Again, it's great to see him again. He's a very respectful character. I have no issues with that. But like, again, it's been so long, and this is the moment they bring him back to do it. Okay. So we get 2 conflicting stories. Bradford's telling his still true but a little bit falsified version of how events occurred, and David Demish's character just basically lays it all out. He's trying to do everything he can, but however, considering the fact there are official paperwork supporting Bradford, the crime David Demishi just committed, there's just way too many things right now that's against David's character. So thankfully, Bradford's case is not ruled into a permanent suspension. It is going to be a blemish, though. They are going to keep an eye on him, but like as of right now, Bradford still has a job, and at least that's great for Bradford for his career trajectory. However, Graves, like, the manner you approached this, yes, you saved a woman's life, but you didn't use the proper channels. You went rogue. You did your own thing. You brought in a detective and an officer with you on an unauthorized investigation. Thankfully, everything's all right. Everything worked out, but there will be cases where it doesn't work out like that. So where does that leave you? And, he's going to tell the Metro captain about this, because I keep remembering, oh, wait, Bradford's in Metro. I keep forgetting he's not a patrol officer anymore, but c'est la vie on that. But Bradford goes outside. He talks to Chen, telling her, like, yeah, I just lied to 2 men I greatly respect and admire to keep my job. That even though it seems like my life is good right now, it seems I'm secure, that this rattled him a little bit, that that things from his past could always come back, that he's not a perfect man, that, at any point something else could come up from his past that was very troubling, and that he doesn't want to put Chen in way of that. He doesn't want to bring Chen down, and this is the moment that a lot of people did not want to hear. Bradford decides to break up with Chen because he wants to keep her safe. He wants to give her an opportunity to find someone even better than him. And this needs to happen. And Chen's obviously, no, this is not the right call. How do you say, you value me, you love me, and just, walk away from it? And, yeah, no, I completely agree with her. And, Bradford isn't thinking correctly right now. He's definitely in not the right place right now with everything going on. At any point, David's character could always come back and really wreck shit up for Bradford. But, as of right now, we're just, this isn't the right time. And, Bradford just I'm sorry, I got to do this. I got to walk away. And, yeah. And I'm just like, damn. I mean, you kept these fans waiting for 4 seasons for the kiss. You gave them basically a season's worth of relationship content. And then from all else, you break them up. Again, I trust the writers. I know, I hopefully there is a plan in motion, however that might end up to be. But, yeah, this is still a devastating moment for the Chenford community. I will expect X to blow up after this once I'm done with this recording to see how much of that really is true. Then we come over back to Nolan and Juarez, who are wrapping up their shift. Juarez is now prepared to bunker down during the weekend to just focus on hiding from her roommate and just trying to just be away from any unforeseen body parts. Which I'm like, wait a minute, hold on. Didn't Juarez have a kind of a little thing going with that dog walker from last season? The way they were leaving that off was kind of a little suspicious, but I'm like, did we forget about that one too? And where's that mysterious villain that Wesley's ex-wife was going after? What was that? What's going on with that? It's been 5 more episodes since then. I need some substance over here. I need something to go along with this one. And so, but during this conversation, Nolan realizes, I want to have another kid. I want to have a kid with Bailey. That I would be doing a great disservice to her as a husband to not provide her with the same feelings and elements that, he had when he was raising Henry so many years ago. So he goes over home. He talks to Bailey. He's like, yes, let's have a baby. Let's start making that baby right now. And I'm like, bro, y'all just got married a couple weeks ago. I'm not married yet, so I don't understand what the brain power is. Maybe enjoy a couple years of being, having an empty nest, enjoying marriage as best you can be. But okay, you know what, it is what it is. So they go off for a passionate lovemaking session, and that was it for this week's episode of The Rookie. Again, I trust the writers that they know what they're doing, that they know the right course of action that the characters need to go into next to figure out what is next for them. Nolan's going to be a dad again, you know, because Bailey's actress was pregnant. Well, she is pregnant, but like normally this kid's like they would write that in. So I'm pretty sure by the end of season 6 we are going to get a pregnancy thing with Bailey that they're gonna be parents eventually, or it could also be just trying to time out with when they do start hopefully filming season 7 that like it all lines up. Again, who really knows? Who really knows? No, we're not out of season 7. I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore here. Bradford's conflict with David Dabishi. I mean, I find it to be intriguing. You know, definitely it's kind of like, you know, a cat and mouse sort of thing where, you know, it seems like David's still in control of the whole thing. You know, he could still definitely have like another ace up his sleeve down the road. Who the heck really knows? But Bradford decided to break up with Chen. Oof, I was not expecting that. I really was not. I had nothing in my bingo card for that one. But again, hopefully this is part of building a much more stronger relationship for them down the road. But yeah, until then, you know, we just got to keep playing it by the hand and see what the heck is going to happen next. Because at least right now, I really don't know. You don't ask me anything because I really don't know. But for the time being, I'm giving this episode 2 thumbs up. I enjoyed it so much. I can't wait to see where things go when we do come back from the break again at the end of the month. But I believe that's going to do it for me today, everyone. So for unaware, this has been What to Do from ActionX, reviewing every episode in the 6th season of The Rookie. If you want to know what we're doing normally on What's the Tube after our Rookie episode reviews. Or, no, that's not Rookie. I said that completely wrong. This is how tired I am, everyone. We are also doing Walker episode reviews each and every Thursdays after Brandon was on Wednesday nights on the CW. So stay tuned for until then. But if you only care about The Rookie, sadly, we do have to wait a while. We have to wait 3 more weeks for the last batch of episodes to come out. It'll be a straight 4-week flush after that. So don't worry. We shall be back sooner than later for that front. And then by that point, we'll kick off the end of our review season where we'll be doing a season 7 predictions video and a season 6 non-spoiler review. So wait for those as they come out. But again, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't yet. Like, favorite, share if you want to. Ring that bell and follow us on social media. But until we see each other again, thank you so much for watching. Please stay safe out there. Be good to each other. And as always, peace out.